Berachos Daf Gimel. Tremendous mazel tov to every single one of you who started Shas. You should be zoicha to stay on board, stick it out, and finish Shas Be'ezer Hashem. Welcome to the over 1,500 new subscribers in the last 24 hours. That brings us up to 7,500 new subscribers in the last 4 days, I think it is. Our goal initially was to get to 10,000 new subscribers during the Siyum Shas. We're almost there. With your help, just send out the link, put it on your status, tell your friends about it. It will make a tremendous Kiddush Hashem and a big difference. We learned in the Mishnah that according to R Eli, you can say Kriya Shema until Soif Hashmur Rishayna, until the end of the first Mishmar. There are 3 Mishmars according to one Shita and Shemayim that where the Malachim say Shira, and when one Mishmar ends and the next one begins, that's when you can say Kriya Shema. The question is, if you divide the night into 3, it equals to 4 hours each. So why doesn't the Mishnah just say you can say Kriya Shema until 4 hours? The answer is to teach us that the Mishmaras and Shemayim coincide with the Mishmaras down here. We also have Mishmaras. For instance, the first Mishmar, you'll hear the donkeys neighing and making noise. The second, at the middle of the second Mishmar, you'll hear the dogs barking. And the beginning of the third Mishmar, the babies wake up to nurse. And when a couple wakes up, the wife starts talking to her husband. According to another pshat, all 3 of these signs happen at the end of each Mishmar. The end of the third Mishmar is already daytime. I don't need a sign. But it's to tell you that if you're in a dark room and your wife starts talking to you, or your baby wants a nurse, you should know it's time to say Kriya Shema. HaKadosh Baruch Hu shoyei ka'ari. He roars like a lion 3 times a day. And he says, Oy lebanim shabavnisei mechrafti es beisi. Wow to the nation that because of my sons, I had to destroy my house, and I had to burn my heichal, and I had to send Klal Yisrael to Galus. Says Rabbi Yosi, I was once on the way, and I had a daven. So I went off the path, and I went into ruins, into Churva Achas Mirushalayim. And Elianavi waited for me by the door, and when I finished, he said, Shalom. And I said, Shalom Alecha Rabbi Yomoiri. He says, what are you doing here? I said, I had a daven. He said, daven, you can daven on the way. You should daven in Tefillah K'tzara. Says Rabbi Yosi, I learned 3 things from here. First of all, you don't go into a churva, and if you're traveling, you can daven on the way. And what do you daven? Tefillas Havinenu, the Tefillah K'tzar. And Elianavi continued and asked him, what did you hear in the churva? And he said, I heard a voice that sounded like a pigeon cooing, and the pigeon was saying, or the voice was saying, Oy lebanim, like we just said, that I had to be machriv my house and burn my heichal, and I had to be maglik Klal Yisrael. Says Elianavi, in a lashon of a shvuah, and a double shvuah, I swear to you, double. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says this every single day, 3 times a day. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees Klal Yisrael going into shuls and they say, Amei Yesh Me'Rabba, he bows his head kaviyachal, and he says, and he's mitzvah kaviyachal, that he sent Klal Yisrael into Galus. Why don't you go into a churva, into ruins? There are 3 reasons in the Gemara. First is chashad, for suspicion. And that's a reason if you're going with 2 people, they're not that good, they're prutzim. So there's still a chashad that a person will be with a zayna. People will say that he's with a zayna. The second reason is mapayos, we're worried that the ruins will cave in. And that's a reason, if you're going in with 2 kosher people, that you don't have a chashad. And finally, the third reason is mazikim, shadim. If it's a brand new place, and 2 people that are kosher, but it's in their place that the mazikim like to hang out, it's still dangerous even though you have 2 people. Or if you're just with 1 person, or you're by yourself, and you're in a field, so there's no women, there's no chashad, yet there's mazikim. Rebbe says that the night consists of 4 mishmaras, in other words, 3 hours each. David HaMelech says he woke up every night at Chatzos and says, Kadmu Eini Ashmoros. I woke up 2 mishmaros before the end. Now, if you hold that there are only 3 mishmaros in the night, and he woke up in Chatzos, which is in the middle of the night, that means there's only 1.5 mishmaros left. How do we reconcile this? Says the Gemara, because the Melech was saying that he woke up 6 hours to the end of the night, plus 2 hours, because kings would sleep 2 hours into the day. Basically, he woke up 8 hours before everyone else. 8 hours divided by 2 equals 4 hours. In other words, there's 2 mishmaros that he woke up before the other kings. Yes, it was only 6 hours of nighttime, 1.5 mishmaros, but it was 8 hours before the kings, which equals 2 mishmaros of 4 hours each. Rav Ashi says you could call 1.5 mishmaros, 2 mishmaros. The Gemara says halacha, in front of a dead person you should not talk in learning, because it's loig l'rosh. Since a dead person can't talk in learning, he'll feel bad. unless you talk in learning that the dead person was mechadish. Another pshat in the Gemara is you shouldn't talk any shtuyot, you shouldn't say anything in front of the mace. It still makes it feel bad unless you're talking about the mace himself. There's a contradiction seemingly in the Pesukim. In one pasuk it says that David HaMelech woke up at Chatzos. The other pasuk it says that he woke up before the night. The Gemara has three pshatim. Either David HaMelech was saying, I never slept past Chatzos, or he said that I was learning Torah up until Chatzos like a horse that dozes off, but he was learning within his dozing. And then from that point on, he would be misgaber kari, he would strengthen himself like a lion. Or the pshat is, until Chatzos he would learn Torah, and then from Chatzos on, he would be Isaac and Shirois, Visish Bachos. The word Neshef means when something goes away, when the night becomes day, or when the day becomes night. David HaMelech says, Chatzos Laila Akum, I'd wake up at Chatzos. So in other words, David HaMelech knew when Chatzos was, and on the other hand, it seems like Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know when Chatzos was, because he says, Kach Chatzos Laila, he tells Paroi, Kach Chatzos, almost at Chatzos. 4 pshatim in the Gemara. Either David HaMelech knew and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't know, because David HaMelech had his kinar, his heart, which told him exactly when Chatzos was. Or the pshat is Moshe Rabbeinu also knew, just David HaMelech needed his kinar in order to awaken him. Third pshat is Moshe Rabbeinu knew when Chatzos was, he was just worried that people will say Moshe Badoi, he's lying Moshe Rabbeinu, so that's why he said Kechatzos, so they don't catch him on his word. Or the pshat is that Moshe Rabbeinu on the 13th of Nisan, he said Kechatzos, just like now, tomorrow, Kechatzos, tomorrow, HaKadosh Baruch was going to take Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. By Elisa Shach, the Gemara tells us, Chachmei Yisrael came into the Melech, it means one time they came in, every day they would come in by Elisa Shach, but once they came in and they said, we need Pardos B'Klal Yisrael, said David HaMelech, let them do business with each other. Saying Chachamim, it's not enough to be finance everybody, so he said, go out to war. Says the Gemara, how do you go out to war? You ask Achitophel. In other words, the strategy of war you get from Achitophel. B'nei Yada means you ask for shus from the Sanhedrin. Aviyasar means you ask the Urim V'Tumim, and Yoav led them to war. Have a wonderful day.